If 2020 showed us anything, it's that local newsrooms continue to be an invaluable resource, covering everything from racial injustice to the impacts of coronavirus on smaller communities. Our next guests are working to bolster that reporting through a project that helps to place journalists into local newsrooms to report on undercovered issues and communities. The Report for America initiative is part of the nonprofit media organization, the Ground Truth Project. And its founder, CEO, and editor, Charlie Sennott, joins us now. Also with us, Report for America Corps member Morgan Mullings. She currently covers the Massachusetts legislature and Boston city government for the Bay State Banner. Charlie, you are doing such important work. I'm a newspaper alum, believe very much in the importance of these local newsrooms. Just walk us through the project. What is it and why does it matter?
Well, Report for America is really a service project. We're trying to serve local communities by bolstering local reporting in those communities. So we put out a call to newsrooms and we say, if you have a part of your community that needs to be covered, that's not getting covered, let us know. We then select those newsrooms carefully. And then we put out the call to emerging journalists. And this really is a call to service to say, any of you who want to be reporters who understand the great public service of local reporting, we want you to join. And then we select those reporters and match them with the newsroom. So this year, 2021, in the new year, we'll have 300 reporters in more than 200 newsrooms across the country. So that's in rural Ohio, that's in the Mississippi Delta, it's in Appalachia. It's right here where I am in Boston with Morgan Mullings, who's at the Bay State Banner, great Black-owned newspaper, great tradition. She's doing really important work at City Hall and the State House and really informing the community here in Boston. So that's what we want to do across the country, and that's what we are doing. It's really feeling like a movement, but the crisis is deep. And even though we're having success, we feel like we are far from really getting our arms around this crisis and being anywhere near resolving it. 60% of the reporters in America have lost their work in the last 20 years. That's a crisis on par with the collapse of the coal industry or steel. We really have to do a better job telling this story, Jonathan. I know you and Michael, come from the traditional local reporting. It just couldn't be more important for us to recognize that if we're going to get out of this crisis in our democracy and this incredibly divided time in our country, one of the ways we can do that is by recognizing the importance of local news, supporting local news, and hopefully calling this new generation of journalists to come forward and be part of Report for America.
So I want to ask Morgan a question in just a second about the reporting that she's been able to do. But Charlie, I just want to dig into what you were just saying for a second, because I just think it's important for all of our viewers to understand the kinds of stories that are told at the local level, the way in which local reporters, local papers hold politicians accountable. What kinds of stories are these communities able to consume because of this project that you've undertaken?
So these are the stories that matter most to communities. These are the local issues, like what's happening with the Board of Education, what's happening in their town hall, where is the money going? These are the stories of communities that bind them together, that really make them address the local issues they face together through a shared set of facts. It's the basics of journalism. I heard this morning the discussion was really revolving around that media has focused too much on Donald Trump and given maybe too much airtime to how divisive he's been. But the media is not just made up of the big networks and cable television. The media is really about local reporters across this country, men and women who every day are covering the stories that really, really matter to their communities. And I think knowing that is so diminished and really dying is something we need to be concerned about. And I really believe there's a direct connection between not covering those local issues, not having a shared set of facts and civic engagement, and the crisis of our democracy. Yeah. We know 1,800 communities have lost their local news organizations, and those that lose it are more polarized, more divided, and interestingly have lower bond ratings. Banks don't want to invest in communities that don't have anyone watching the store.
No, it's absolutely such an important point. And Morgan, what inspired you to get into journalism? And when you talk to people your age who are just starting out in the industry, some of the figures Charlie just laid out are pretty bleak. And I know certainly a lot of my colleagues over the years have talked about conversations with their parents who said, well, maybe you should be a lawyer instead of a journalist, or perhaps do something else. And of course, for people often of color who come from, perhaps low-income families or who don't have the opportunity to take an unpaid internship, it can be even harder to get into the field. So why are you doing it, and how has this program helped you, and how do you think it can help others?
Well, my parents definitely did think that it would be best for me at first to do something, go to law school, go to medical school. But they definitely saw that as a child I was so passionate about journalism, passionate about the stories that I could tell from the time I was in elementary school until now. I just graduated in May. I graduated during the pandemic. And if anything, that has encouraged me more to enter this field. Local news is something that's so important to me because right now, especially right now, we're only as good as the information that we have. The decisions that we make are so critical right now. And when we don't have the right information, especially about vaccines, about what's going on in housing right now, about our health care, it's easy to say I can watch things on a national level and then I'll know. But
thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.